What's up, YouTube? This is Tim with Frontline Tractor Service. Just wanted to take a minute to make this video to talk about some things that I've learned about flail mowers. When I bought my flail, I've got a 60-inch Ironcraft. It's an offset flail. Really good piece of equipment. Does a lot of good things for me. When I initially started looking into them, all I had was a bush hog. So I went over to my friend Ryan at Brooksville General, and it's a Coyote dealership where I buy most of my attachments and bought my tractor from. And I talked to him about flails. He actually said he had never sold one. So he agreed to get one, let me try it out, see what I thought, and I ended up buying it. So it is a great piece of equipment. What I can tell you is that they are really good at overgrown brush. If you get into tall grass, they don't do so well. So when I ordered it with hammer blades, which look like this. This is, I'll overlay another picture of these actually on the machine. But these go on here, and this drum counter rotates, and so it'll swing this way, and it does a really good job of cutting thick brush. Really anything that's kind of fibrous. I'm in Southwest Florida, so basically any kind of smaller brush that we have in the woods here, that does a really good job of that. So I ended up switching out to Y blades, which these are very easily interchangeable. It takes about 45 minutes. There's, I think, 24 of them on there, 24, 26, something like that. And it's just a nut and a bolt. They come off and then you change them out. So it's kind of time consuming because there's a lot of them. But other than that, it's not too bad. So I ended up actually changing out from hammer blades to the Y blades, which are what I have on the machine now. They go on there, look like this. It's literally two pieces of steel with a couple spacers on a bolt that hang. And they go on there just like you see, and they spin, and they do a really, really good job of cutting grass. They actually mulch it up, and I would honestly compare it almost to how a zero turn cuts. It's a very, very good quality cut, much better than what you'd get from a bush hog. The problem is, when you get into grass that is, I'll say, over 24 inches tall, a bush hog is gonna be far better for you. I always thought that, from what I had read everywhere on the forums, that if you look at a flail mower, they are the end-all be-all, best tool ever created. You never need a bush hog ever again. I found out that was a lie. Possibly just people inexperienced, didn't really know what they were talking about necessarily. Not saying that I know anything about what I'm talking about. I'm just here sharing my experience. So yeah, I ended up going back and buying a 6-foot bush hog after I had this machine on the job, and it took me about 6 hours, and I only made it 4 passes around an acre piece of property that I was mowing. I went back through with a 6-foot bush hog, and I had the whole thing done in 45 minutes, if that tells you how fast it should have been. So, but yeah, so when I went back to Ryan at Brooksville General, he asked me which blades I had. I told him I had the hammers, and he was like, try these. And he gave me a set of the Y blades. So I put those on, and I actually had about 400 feet of lake frontage that I had to mow down, and did phenomenal. It's a night and day difference. Obviously there's, different blades for different environments and different vegetation that you're cutting. But what I can say is the Y blades definitely do better at tall grass. They still, and you'll see in some of the video that I'll overlay, you'll see that it still has a tendency to wrap that tall grass around this drum. It just wraps it up, and it ends up bogging down the tractor, slipping the belts on your mower. Just really not ideal. So ultimately, at the end of the day, if you have a bush hog and a flail mower, you're going to be set for pretty much anything. A bush hog excels, in my opinion, way above a flail in anything that's, going to be 3 feet or really 2 feet tall or higher. That's just thick grass. So I'm going to try to continue to make some more of these videos. This is kind of the first one I'm doing. Like I said, I've looked all over YouTube, and I was trying to find videos on this before, I spent thousands of dollars on an attachment, and everything that I read on the forum said, yeah, it's going to be the greatest thing you've ever bought. So I really just wanted to take a minute to just really explain my experience. I've had it 4 or 5 months now. I've done a lot of cutting with it. Like I said, it does it does really well on a lot of different things, but there's some things that it just doesn't do good on. Another thing that I can say about the flail over the bush hog is if you're in that thick brush, dense vegetation, that's, you know, probably 2 inches in diameter or less, the flail mower is the way to go. The bush hog will do it, yes, but the flail mower will not only cut it down, but it mulches it all up. It's almost like a super light duty forestry mulcher, and I really do mean super light duty. Definitely by no means is it gonna go and mulch up, you know, a 6-inch tree or bigger. It's just not gonna do that. It's a mower. It's not really designed for that. But what I can say is if you've got that, you know, just typical underbrush that we have here in Florida, it's all, you know, just little twigs that are growing up into bushes and it's a tangled mess, flail mower is the way to go for sure. I'll overlay some video and show you guys what I'm talking about. And like I said, I'm gonna try to make more of these videos and just try to keep it rolling. Thanks.